"15 Odd and Bizarre Historical Events That Sound Fake." History takes us to a whole different era and makes us experience events that leave us awestruck. Studying history is important because, through it, we get to know about our past. Also, the wisest people always say that we can comprehend our present if we study our past thoroughly. Plus, history contains too many elements that cannot be overlooked at any cost. The aspect of art itself is a phenomenon that needs to be scrutinized and examined for the sake of knowing the origins of the development of several aspects such as art, as mentioned above. However, the things of the past are so complex that sometimes we ask the question if these things are really authentic and original. Today we have brought to you a list of 15 events that actually happened in the past. But, these events are so bizarre that our brain takes time to sink in every moment of theirs. Okay, without any further ado, let's start. Before we start with the countdown, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and tap on the bell icon for more amazing videos. 1. The current US flag was designed by a 17-year-old student. Have you ever heard about the boy Robert G. Heft? Well, not many people know about this incredible guy who designed the world's most famous flag. Yes, Robert G. Heft was a 17-year-old student who designed the US flag as a part of a school project. But, his teacher didn't like what he made. The assignment was given a B grade. Nonetheless, Robert was never discouraged because of his teacher's remarks. He went on to send the designs to the White House. Surprisingly, his designs were selected out of 1,500 different designs. So, anything can happen, you need to believe. 2. China used more cement in 3 years than the US did in the entire 20th century. No one can deny the success of China. China has been able to come to the top within a span of a few years and have left behind the most notable nations. Even Bill Gates tweeted about it and told us about how China employed more cement than the US. However, no one took him seriously until a survey was carried out indicating the same, which left everyone stunned. The US used 4.5 gigatons of cement between 1901 and 2000. Whereas, China used around 6.6 gigatons of cement. China used between 2011 and 2013, which is obviously way much more than the US. From now onwards, listen carefully to what Bill Gates says. 3. Abraham Lincoln was a great wrestler. Abraham Lincoln was the greatest president in American history. However, no one knew that he was a great wrestler as well. Before he became a competent president, he took part in 300 matches as a wrestler. He was 6 feet 4 inches tall and weighed about 225 pounds in his wrestling days. 4. The Pope once declared war on cats. You might assume that the Pope would be a dog person, and this is the reason he waged war against cats. However, Pope Gregory IV once exclaimed that cats are the instruments of Satan, and cats must be exterminated throughout Europe. Most people say that the historic reduction of cats leads to a sudden spike of rats that carried the plague. It was the main reason for the outbreak of the notorious Black Plague in the 13th century that took a number of lives. 5. Cleopatra wasn't an Egyptian. Undoubtedly, the most popular Egyptian to have ever breathed on the face of the earth is not even an Egyptian. Yes, Cleopatra belonged to Greek origin. She was the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt. The founder of the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt was Ptolemy I Soter. He was a Greek general and was also the companion of Alexander the Great. Cleopatra was a member of the Ptolemaic dynasty and thus became the descendant of Ptolemy I Soter. 6. Caligula made his horse a priest. The Roman Emperor Gaius, popularly known as Caligula, was a tough and merciless emperor. He loved his horses more than any other thing in the world. Incitatus was his most favorite horse. He loved his horse so much that he decorated it with precious items. His horse had a marble stall, an ivory manger, and a jeweled collar. Plus, the horse even had his own house. How strange. The feed of the horse was oats mixed with gold flakes. Caligula tried his best to make his horse the senator of Rome. But, eventually, Caligula made Incitatus a priest. 7. Turkeys were once worshipped like deities. Nowadays, turkeys are only famous as the most delicious meals. Especially, turkeys make a lip-smacking snack for Thanksgiving. However, in the past, the turkeys were worshipped by the Mayan people. In 3000 BC, the huge bird was considered to be close to God. Turkeys were the sign of power and esteem. If you don't believe us, have a look at Mayans' iconography and archaeology. 8. Tesla was scared of pearls. Nikola Tesla was by far the greatest minds to have ever lived. However, no matter how much a person is a genius, there is definitely some weakness related to him/her. Similarly, Nikola Tesla had fear of a few things which were quite bizarre. Tesla was scared of even the sight of pearls. Plus, he also refused to speak to those women who wore pearls. It is famous that when his secretary wore pearl jewelry, he sent her home for a day. Tesla wore white gloves while having dinner and termed himself as a dapper dresser. 9. The Brits sold their wives. Back in the 17th and 19th centuries, the Brits were notorious to sell their wives. It mainly happened due to the fact that getting a divorce was really expensive. So, Brits preferred to sell their wives in order to enjoy a few bucks. It was common among lower-class British people. Also, you might say that this act has been totally wiped out of England. But, if you observe closely, you might find such cases taking place in nooks and corners, not only in England but in the whole world. 10. Heroin used to be sold over the counter to treat coughs. In the past, heroin was considered to be an effective drug for treating cough. Ancestors could be really weird. But, who knew they would go to such an extent? Heroin was really famous and both adults and younger ones used to consume it like it is some sort of candy. Our ancestors might not have been aware of the grave consequences of consuming it. 11. Egyptian servants most likely hated honey. Honey is considered to be something so divine that it gets connected directly to the heavens. Literally, no one can resist having honey. Pure honey is also very expensive and hard to identify. Still, Egyptian servants didn't understand the value of it and never preferred it. However, there's a solid reason behind it. The servants were smeared with honey so that they attracted all the bees so that these bees stayed away from Pharaoh. If you had to face something similar, you would also start hating even the best thing about the earth. 12. The Romans used human urine as mouthwash. It might disgust you to the core. Nonetheless, our ancestors used Portuguese urine in order to clean their mouths. They thought that the ammonia's presence in urine used to disinfect the mouth and bring a unique shine to the teeth. The tradition continued till very long time and people had a definite belief in such mouthwashes. However, you must not get inspired by it and must stick to Colgate or Listerine. 13. Charlie Chaplin passed away as Apple was founded. The beginning of something great could be an end of something great. Charlie Chaplin passed away as Apple was founded in 1977. There are so many similarities between the founding of Apple and Charlie Chaplin. Charlie Chaplin completely revamped the film industry by his unique gimmicks, black and white, silent films. While Apple was about to change the face of the technology. 14. Pope Pius II was into porn. Well, even the Pope could not resist porn. Pope Pius II, before becoming a pope, wrote an erotic book called The Tale of Two Lovers. Due to this book, he was considered to be a person interested in porn. Popes are the purest beings on earth, and we cannot expect something like this from them. Isn't it? 15. Joseph Stalin used to Photoshop his pictures. In today's time, everyone uses Photoshop for her pictures. But Joseph Stalin used Photoshop when it was not even invented. Joseph Stalin retouched his photos in order to remove people from his photos. These people might have died or might have been removed from the office. So, Stalin preferred to remove them altogether from his photos. Tech enthusiasts must take some tips from Joseph Stalin. So, here we have come to an end of our list that showed you 15 of the greatest events of the history that seem bogus but are clearly not. These events reflect how anything is possible on Earth.